Hello, Feminine Roadmappers. It is Gina here, and welcome to Feminine Roadmap Health and Wellness channel. Today, I have Dr. Freida Birnbaum. She is a media psychologist and a published author, and she and I have had a friendship and a connection for about a year now, and we found that we have a lot of things in common. So when the holidays came up and she reached out and said, hey, let's do a conversation about stress in the holidays, I knew she would be the perfect guest to share this really important topic, something that we really need to talk about, because isn't it right, Frieda, that the holidays are very stressful?
100%, and thank you very much because you are just a delight to speak to. You make it easy, you make it fun, and that's who you are in person as well. So we're lucky to have someone like you around to
Thank you.
represent all this information that we're giving because of you. And yes, it's a very, very stressful time. And we're starting with families. Families are people who really are interviewing you in a way. Are you married yet? Do you have children? When are you having children? Why don't you move closer? It's really stressful before it even starts. We're talking about even where you sit. Do you know where you sit makes the difference? If you have somebody sitting in front of you and either side of you and you don't like them, watch out. It's like real estate. They're there. You're stuck with them. And then you really have to have something to talk about, because if they're boring, you can fall asleep, although the turkey will do that anyway, and that's a great excuse. But you know, you have to find things to stimulate you. But when they do put you on the spot, you can always physically walk away and pretend you're doing something else. But that's just the beginning. Let's look at the holidays itself. You know, it's very depressing for a lot of people. What if you just got a divorce and you're stuck with the kids? Not that you're stuck with them because you don't want to be with them, but you're stuck in a situation where you don't have a say about it. Who's seeing who when? And then there is the mother-in-law and the father-in-law on either side. When do they want the kids to come? So you really have to have a game plan to make it pleasant, because in reality, isn't that what the holidays are really about? For the children to enjoy themselves, for the children to have gifts, because they really ignite everything. They're the ones that have the energy. They're the ones that make it fun. So that's one area that you can really make sure that you can have something that you can follow through every single year. Have a game plan for that. Then we're looking at other things. You know, what about illness? What if someone is really critically ill? How can you have the holiday spirit? Well, we have to live in the moment. This is what's going on with us right now. Is that person available? Can you go over there? Even if they're in the hospital, bring champagne if you can. Bring a few friends. Bring some presents if you can, because the moment is really what life is all about, and we have to stay with that. And then, of course, there are people who pass away, loved ones. What do you do when something happens so close to the holidays, or even not so close, but it's like the white elephant in the room? That memory is there. Celebrate that memory. Stay with that person. Say wonderful things. Bring pictures, and know that that can continue to be part of your life. So that is, these things are really things that we have to live with and we have to face. But then there are other aspects for depression, believe it or not. There's more. And part of that is loneliness. We are people who need to be with other people. We like to be together in groups. What if you don't have relatives around? What if you don't really have many friends around, and you really feel that everybody else out there is having such a good time and you're stuck with yourself? Well, not true. There are ways that you can go ahead and make a difference. You can pick up that call, that phone, and you can call your relatives if you're too far away. You can take a friend, invite them out to dinner, or make dinner for that friend. You can go ahead and have joy in your life by bringing other people into your life. You can do volunteer work. You can do the soup kitchen. You can go to hospitals. You can help cook and bake with other people. All kinds of things that you can do that can bring people together. And then one of the big issues, believe it or not, I'm not finished, is money. What do you do when you don't have money? What do you do when you don't have a job? What do you do if you have children that are waiting for gifts? That's very, very upsetting. That's extremely stressful. But money does not make memories. because when you spend, you have to keep spending. It's the gift that keeps on spending through the summer with your Visa card. But if you don't have to worry about that, then you can go ahead and be free. You can have experiences. You could see the Christmas lights. You can take a walk with your family. You can go ahead and bake things and make experiences for yourself that can be delightful. So it doesn't have to be about how much money. Anyway, it's for children. It's not for the adults. So we're talking about money for clothing. We're talking about money for gifts. We're talking about money for restaurants and parties. You know, so much pressure, and it's supposed to be one day. If you feel you're under too much pressure, you can always go somewhere where it's warm, because that day only lasts one day. Here it lasts till the leaves start growing in again, and you know, the lights don't go away. And that's what you need to know, that other people really are smiling and they're walking around with their friends and family, but everybody has stuff. Everybody has to think about their own situations. So it's really not what it looks like. But if you smile back, you'll feel better, and other people will feel better around you. So I know I said a lot in one breath here, but I just wanted to throw this out at you because it's so important not to feel that you're the only one in this situation.
Mhm.
There are others as well. And it's a time really to embrace life, to make changes, and to make other decisions as well.
It's interesting, Dr. Frieda, because I know of a handful of people in my own circle who are going through a very difficult holiday season because it's the first season that they're going through it without their spouse. They're going through a divorce. And
Yes.
so when somebody is going through something traumatic like that, and they've lost their traditions, if you will. And so let's talk a little bit about how we can be flexible with traditions or rethink our traditions in order to help the holidays feel good and happy when you're going through some kind of a loss.
Absolutely. And you have a very good point there. When there is a loss, and changing the way that you reinvent yourself is extremely important, because it's a step in the right direction. So sometimes holidays force you to make these kind of changes. And by the way, divorce does not have to be a negative. A long marriage is not necessarily a positive. It's about happiness. It's about contentment. What is right for you? Because a lifetime of being unhappily married to someone is not a huge accomplishment. It does take a lot of courage to leave somebody as well. So that's very important for everyone to know. But when you go ahead and you make these kind of changes in your lifestyle, well, you can go ahead and meet people that you like, rather than being stuck with people that you don't like. It doesn't have to be relatives. You know, they called Friendsgiving. Did you hear of this one?
Yes.
Where you pick people that you really enjoy being with, rather than being stuck, like I said before, with your relatives. And so you have these options of people that are dynamic, people that have things in common with you, and you're able to move in a direction and network and find things out about yourself while you're with others that can be very rewarding and very enriching. So I guess the answer is not staying stuck is the best thing for you, and the best thing for anybody in any situation as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find traditions are kind of a hiccup and a hang up for some people as well. Like the having to do something instead of just
Yes.
enjoying the holidays.
Yes, having to see your aunt Amanda or whatever, and going over there and sitting there for hours while they're drilling you about your life. I guess, you know, this Good Friday is a great shopping Friday. Black Friday is a great excuse because you have to go shopping. I mean, it's pretty insane and pretty upsetting that you have to leave your family, but it's a wonderful excuse. So to go ahead and stop these rituals can be
Mm.
helpful for you and for the other people as well. It's not necessarily that they like it either, but just imagine sitting with these people for hours. What do you talk about after a while? You know, how
Right.
much can you eat anyway? You know,
How much do you want to eat?
how much do you want to eat? And do you really want to get on that scale the next day and see what happens? So I don't know if that's so rewarding either. So I think you hit on something. We have to make changes. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that we have to go ahead and celebrate in a way that we feel other people want us to celebrate. Celebration is a way of making things happy, making people feel good, making yourself uh, enjoy the situation. And if that's not the case, then you're doing the wrong thing. So you have to reassess. And maybe this should be a New Year's resolution, reassessing the holidays,
Mm-hmm.
reassessing how you spend it, who you spend it with, how much you spend, because all these things, as we're talking about, are extremely stressful, a
Yeah.
lot of tension, and people, as I can testify in my practice, they're unhappy. They're unhappy. They don't want so and so in the same room with them. They haven't spoken to them for years. Do they go? Do they not go? Do
Mm-hmm.
they talk to them? Do they pretend? What do you do? The important thing to know really is when you look at things, it's the little things that get in the way and the little things that are really uh, unimportant.
Mm-hmm.
If you can override them and see that whatever it is you're doing, it's coming from you and how you are reinterpreting it. So,
Mm.
not to have everything fester inside you that in the long term doesn't make a difference because who really cares who talks to who or what they said? And it's, the more successful you are, the more people will be critical of you anyway. So think of it that way. Oh, I must be doing very well. They're finding all these problems with me.
They'll
So
just
that's
reframe the whole thing,
you
right?
frame the whole thing. People ask me, how many patients do I have or how many shows am I on or whatever. And I just tell them the same thing. I'm doing fine. I'm doing well. I don't go into specifics at all. People don't have to corner you. They
Mm.
don't have to make you feel you have to produce a product for them. It's not up to them. Look at the politicians, the way they answer. They never answer questions.
That's true.
Just study the way they behave. I'm like dumbfounded when I'm watching them. They're saying something completely different. It's scripted, first of all, and they're getting their message across. Maybe it's not a bad idea before you go and you see these people, script your message. What am I going to say that I want them to hear about, not what they want to hear about? And you'll be empowered and you can do anything anywhere because you're the one that's in charge, not other people that take your power away by telling you whether you're right or wrong. Nobody really has that kind of opportunity unless you let them. So it's really, you're the one that's running the show. So with all the things I spoke about, from its worst, the holidays can still be a time of rejoicing if you know what's important, if you know that seeing someone means something to you, having an experience and seeing the bright lights in the city feeds you emotionally. If those are the things that mean something, someone who's alone and you're inviting them over for dinner so they can have companionship,
Mm.
that's what is most fulfilling. Seeing other people happy. Physiologically, your heart changes when you're giving. Do you know people who give live longer than people who receive? Because you feel differently. You're more at peace. And really, that's what not only the holidays, but that's what life should be about. It should be about peace, being calm, being giving, not I want, I don't have, I'm empty. Because that gets you nowhere. Victimization helps you to stay victimized. Nobody really helps you. They see you as a victim. So what you project, what you put out there, you get back. And if you can continue that during the holidays, something that makes you feel whole, then you're on the right track. And it doesn't matter who says what, because otherwise you'll never enjoy yourself. And I'm really having a blast. I'm doing whatever I want to do. And it's a wonderful thing. And I wish I would have done it younger, but you know something? When you're younger, you're more of a student of life. You're finding things out. But what I did find out is as long as you do something, it's whether you do it or not that makes the difference. And that's what life is all about because we live long enough to be able to have all these experiences. So I just want your viewers to know that even though they haven't done any of these things, they're going to have enough time in front of them to be able to get everything in without any regrets. Because the one thing I see in my practice is that people find regrets. They're sorry that, and they can't go back. So if there's somebody you want something to say something, if there's feelings that you have, don't say I could have or I should have. That's the worst feeling. Do it now and don't wait, even though you have a lot of time ahead of you, because the joy you're going to feel is going to be greater than any gift that you could get or that you could give. Bonding, connecting, relationships are what makes people the happiest, not money. You have to have food on the table and shelter, true. But beyond that, you don't have to have the Tesla out there waiting for you. You don't have to have the country club or whatever they say makes you happier, because then you're just competing with everyone else who's just as unhappy to begin with. So you may as well know that that's really the best place to go, is to have a relationship. It doesn't have to be with someone of the opposite sex. It doesn't have to be with a partner. It could be a relationship with a child. It could be a relationship with your pet. It could be with a friend. Any kind of connection in life is really what feeds the soul. And that's what will feed you this holiday as well.
Mm.
Absolutely.
So there's a few themes that were running through my mind that I hear you talking about. So the first thing was boundaries. I hear you saying that, I guess before setting boundaries is that real sense of your own worth and value and what you want is important. Not putting yourself on the back burner, but really thinking about, who am I? What do I want? And how do I want to feel during the holidays? And then that empowerment allows people to set the boundaries. That's what I'm hearing you say. It's about really being clear about what brings you joy and
Absolutely.
how long you want to spend with somebody, or if you want to spend time with somebody. And then how, this is the question though, how does someone who's never set a boundary with someone? Let's say Aunt Amanda says, I want you to come and spend the whole day, and they're telling you how you're going to spend the holidays. How does someone who hasn't set a boundary, what does it look like for them to set a boundary around them that feels good for them, but still might meet some of the qualifications to keep the peace? Or is that even necessary?
Well, I find that it is very important to know what your limits are and what your expectations are. You take care of yourself
Mm.
and you give yourself everything you need. Guess what happens? People around you are happier because they see you projecting in a different way. You're more relaxed, you're more contented, and it helps them as well to feel the same way. So the first thing you really have to do is to give to yourself.
Mm.
Take a day off, go to the spa, even though you have to do a million things, and you will feed yourself and you'll be happy, and everything else will take its place in retrospect, instead of feeling as if it's an emergency setting, which
Right.
it really, isn't, but it feels that way. So take the time to step back, to relax, to do what you like to do, to enjoy yourself in some way. If it's exercising, going to a spa, doing yoga, whatever that is, even just sitting in a room, closing the doors and just having your mind to yourself and thinking can be extremely helpful and beneficial and relaxing, and put you in a completely different altered state and really connecting to who you are. And then when you're that way, then other things come to you in a positive way and people will respond to you appropriately.
Hmm. That's interesting. That's really interesting because the holidays have, back to what I was saying earlier about traditions. I think you used the word expectations. I have found that expectations are probably my greatest trigger. Like when I used to really struggle with anger, for example, it was the expectation. So this Thanksgiving, what I did was I cleared my calendar the day before Thanksgiving, since all the holidays are at my home. And I took the day just as it came, and I did all the little things I normally do, the vacuuming, the
Mhm.
dusting, the preparing, the just mentally preparing. I spent a whole day just kind of getting myself ready and my house ready. And so when my husband came home, he wasn't coming home from a full day of work to things to do. And I found that it was the most peaceful Thanksgiving I'd ever had. And it's not
Wonderful.
like I never prepared before, but
Yeah,
somehow just literally clearing my calendar and putting no expectations on myself, but just going through the day and being like, okay, I'm going to do my puzzle for an hour and then I'm going to go and do some work. And then I kind of try to ease myself into the holidays so that I could be more present and more joyful about it.
that's really wonderful. And it's a wonderful lesson because if you do that every day of the year, just imagine when you get up in the morning, instead of running to do what you have to do, you just give yourself that time to be there for you, which means you can meditate, you can exercise, you can write in your journal what it is. For me, that's the best time in the morning. I'll just sit there and make notes what I want to do and what I have to do, and then go ahead and do it. Because once you face it, it really isn't that hard. So what we're talking about today is stress in the holidays. If we could use that, especially what you just said, what you did for yourself, wouldn't it be wonderful if everybody could do that every morning to de-stress that way, to go ahead and step back and saying, let me do it my way, let me do it slowly, I'll do it in a way that I can enjoy it instead of feeling harried and harassed by this whole episode. So that is a wonderful way to start every day. And even having a place in the corner of your house where you can set up for meditating and just sit there, or if you don't meditate, to write, uh, that is something to look forward to as well. When you are ready to have that kind of experience, then it goes into other areas of your life as well. Even the way the house looks, where you put flowers, the color of the rooms. Blue is a very soothing color. When you walk into the house from the outside, a pet can be very calming and relaxing. Those things are important to your lifestyle, not to have clutter, so you can think clearly, because physical clutter affects your thinking as well. So what you did for the holidays, if people could do that all year round, they would get much more in. Uh, in research, it has shown that the important things, the dominant things in life, lay dormant. And the small things, the urgent are urgent, the errands is what we address. So people will say, oh yeah, I could have written that book, oh, I wanted to be an actress. All the things that they really wanted, they didn't give themselves time for. So the best thing they could really do in the morning is to write that journal, get those things out of your mind, out of the way, and then you can take care of the big things. Another thing I did learn while I was going for my PhD, and I said, oh, 5 years, forget it, I'm not doing it, was that every day I would get up and do a little bit, even 15 minutes, and I would feel better. And that's a life lesson. If you have something you want to do to accomplish, write a book or whatever it is, give yourself 15 minutes every day. Give yourself some time. Make those phone calls. Whatever it is that is your big dream, whatever it is that's your passion. And when you can do that, the whole day will feel so much better because you will feel taken care of. And eventually, that is going to result in a difference in your life. So here we are talking about stressors, everyday stressors, not only on the holidays as well.
But what I'm connecting with what you're saying, Dr. Frieda, is the rest of the year and how we live our life can actually set us up to have better holidays, because if we're meeting our own needs, if we're practicing good self-care, right, and we're building the relationships we want to build, by the time we get to the holidays, we may have more energy to deal with the difficult family member, right? We might be
Yes,
able to handle those things a little differently, as opposed to running like the crash test dummy and just hitting the holidays, at 150
yes,
miles an hour.
because we don't know what's hitting us. We don't see what's in front of us. So how can we enjoy it? I did something also that was fun. Instead of having dessert at the same table again, torture. So I set up the dessert in the other room. I said, everybody take some dessert and sit wherever you want. And everyone was so happy. They were so thankful. They weren't stuck. So another thing that we can actually do on the holidays is look and see how you can have distractions where you're in it together, as I said. And what I do also for the main meal is everyone gets up. It used to be I would serve it in the middle of the table. And,
Mm.
it was cutting that turkey and serving everything, and everyone, it was just uncomfortable to get to. So now I just serve it in the kitchen. They go in on the island that I have, and they take for themselves, and they're so happy because they can take what they want, how much they want, um, and they don't have to feel as if they have to hurry up and eat. So they go back for seconds when they want. So it's just a more relaxed atmosphere. So that's another way I made those changes. But the best thing is the dessert, because not everybody was in the same room. They went into different rooms. So they were like hiding out from other people that they didn't want to talk to. So that one person that wasn't getting along with the other, they were in different rooms. They were so happy. So there was no contact there. So those are the things. It's also something that when you're relaxed and you can say, you know what, I'm going to go for that walk. I don't have to be here. It
Mm.
helps other people to do what they want to do. They can go and watch a program. I like to walk afterwards because it just is so inviting. I love walking in the wintertime. Uh, and it's getting everybody out of my mind a little bit, out of the way. But uh, you can really physically leave as well. You don't have to only emotionally leave. You
Mm.
can say, excuse me, I have somewhere else to go. Somebody's waiting for me. And they won't mind, because if you feel a certain way, I guarantee you other people do also. And it's just too long. Now we're talking about parties as well. When you go to a party and you don't know a lot of the people there, so who do you talk to? You talk to some people that you do know, but after a while, you're more curious to know who the other people are. The people you know already, you've spoken to. So it's easy to go ahead and say, excuse me, my name is so and so. How do you know whoever? And that starts a conversation, and other people will be happy to be part of knowing someone new. And then there's the other angle. How do you excuse yourself? What do you do? Well, I'm going to refill my glass. I'm going to go to the ladies' room. They may get it. They may get it, or they may not get it, that you want to take a break. But that's okay. It's very acceptable to do that to parties. And another stressor is, what do you wear? What can you wear? What do I buy, and what are the other women going to wear? They're going to look better than me, so I better look okay. And how do I lose 10 pounds in one day? Well, it's not possible. So what do you do? So I can guarantee you, all of us, if we look in our closet, we have those sequenced whatever somewhere, blouses, skirts. Let's see. I have a blazer, pants, a blouse, whatever I have over there. So we don't have to spend all that money on stuff that we already have, with the pressure of what to wear. And it's dark anyway. How well, they don't see you that well. And after a couple drinks, they don't care what you look like. So everybody's having a good time. So I guess my message there is to have fun, because, as I said before, a smile is really what makes it. If you're having a good time, people will see you as if everything's okay. If you're not, and you're upset about yourself, they will see the message that you're sending, whatever that message is. And it doesn't matter how good you look if you're not confident, because confidence is the one thing research has shown. Men, if you want to attract someone, if women want to attract a man, they should be confident. That's what men really look for more than anything. By the way, they do like red. So your red lipstick and that red sweater wouldn't hurt either. They love that color red. I
I'm
did
just
a
a
show
man
about it.
magnet today.
I think you are. They say blonde hair, red, and red lipstick is what they like. So
Interesting.
you're on track. So we spoke about the parties. We spoke about getting together with the relatives,
Yeah.
about money, that you will see that it's not going to be a factor unless you make it a factor,
Yeah.
whatever that means, because the holidays are really about the kids.
Yeah.
It's really about getting together and seeing them open their gifts. And it doesn't have to be expensive. It could be something they like, something that they could use, something they can enjoy. Often when you buy an expensive gift, it's put away because it's not creative. Something that's hands-on and creative, something they could use, would make much more of a difference to them. And of course, to have somebody do it with them, accompany them. Parents and adults don't realize it's not just the gift. The gift means having someone to enjoy it with. So if they can have someone to have an experience with, that would be the most meaningful thing, to take them to an event, to take them to a play if possible, a local play. It doesn't have to be something way out there and expensive. Kids don't know the difference anyway. Take them out for ice cream. They
Yeah.
don't know the difference, rather than to a fine, expensive restaurant.
You know,
Who
it's
wants it
interesting you're
anyway?
talking about gifts. I think that that's another stressor. I've had people in my life who feel like they have to buy a gift for everyone. It's not a spoken thing, it's just this compulsion to have to do this thing, and I think that causes stress in the holidays when we have that have to. I should do
Yes.
this. I have to do this. And where is it written that you have to buy a gift for every single person you know?
And most people don't like the gifts they get. The best thing you can do, really, they don't like it. Best thing you could do, first of all, is buy yourself a gift so you feel taken care of, because no one's going to get you what you can get for yourself. If you
Mm,
see something you really love, get it so you'll feel taken care of. And then you go ahead and you realize that the gifts that you're getting are things that are symbolically caring for what the other person wants. So knowing what it is
mm,
that they want will really mean a lot. But some people would like a gift card, let's face it. That's what they would like. They're practical. They want to get what they want. And especially all these sales, especially women in clothing, they'd rather get something on sale they love than get that sweater or the hat and gloves or whatever that you get. Forget about that. They won't wear it anyway. So that's something that you can reconsider on how you make other people happy, not the price, but the experience of the event that they're going to be looking forward to. So we spoke about parties and we spoke about clothing, and having a partner in your life can also be something that's very important to people. But then again, if you have the wrong partner in your life, it could be a drag on you. It could be something that can wear you down. And it's hard to enjoy yourself if you're with someone that's not going to support your good feelings. So sometimes it's better to have the holidays in such a way where you can have that person in your life, but also there's nothing wrong with doing things with your friends, with other people, with your coworkers. It's a different kind of experience, and that kind of experience can also fill you up in a different way. Because let's face it, your husband or your partner or your girlfriend, they don't want to hear the things you tell your friends. They don't care. Give me a break. Men don't want to small talk. They don't want to know about it. They walk away. I know my husband. If I'm talking about whatever, he'll look at his watch. I'm saying, how dare you? Are you kidding me? Everyone else listens to me. Millions of people, and you walk away? He literally gets up and walks away. And I have to follow him. So that's what marriage does to you. It messes you up. So, but in the long run, um, there are no rules as far as relationships and experiences with other people. If there's somebody you enjoy being with, I know that certain people bring certain things out in you. And also, it's good to know during the whole year that if you walk away from someone who you don't feel so good about yourself after you walk away, that person's not the right one for you, whether it's a friend or whoever that is. It's the feeling that's induced. It's a spirit and kindred souls that's very important, and it doesn't matter who that person really is. So let me ask you, who did I forget one of the topics? Let's see. We spoke about family, we spoke about divorce, illness. Um, we spoke about getting together with all kinds of people. You know, one thing we didn't speak about. what is it that we want for ourselves away from all this? Away from all this celebration and all these events, what is it that we really want for our lives? When we have to do the everyday, ordinary things, when we're not celebrating, it's a good time to reassess that. Now, I know for New Year's resolutions, the number one topic is exercise,
Yeah.
diet, losing weight. We all know that, right? Are we any different than last year? We're probably a couple pounds more, if anything, because our system just doesn't work. You know, in Europe, they just say, eat a little piece of chocolate and they have some meals, big deal. Here, we have this enticement everywhere we go, this garbage around us always, and it's convenience as well. It's easier to eat a piece of roll or something, than to make a salad. So we really have to be, as people say the word in a very negative way, selfish. But selfish means you really have to take care of yourself. So you have to take that time to cut that salad up and to make something for yourself. You have to be able to know that you feel better, that you don't have brain fog after carbs. I do. When I eat carbs, I'm out. Forget it. One slice of bread, it's over. So, you know, all that stuff that you're doing for yourself that you think other things are more important. No. Stop. Takes 20 minutes before you know you're full. Sit down and enjoy being there for you. That's the first thing that people say they want. The second thing they say they want is they want better relationships. Well, if that's what you want, reach out. Go and find the people you want to connect to. Don't wait for them to come to you. Do what it is that you want to do. Say what it is that you want them to hear. And you will know that you're finally in the right place for yourself. So first you have to take care of yourself. Then you have to connect to other people. What do you think the third thing is?
Is it rest?
It's really something that, you know, surprised me. They want to be more spiritual.
Yeah, more connected to their spirit. Yeah,
More connected to their spirit. They
sure.
want to have more depth in their life. They want to be able to have meaning, that their life should have meaning. And that's something that people really feel that they're missing out on because life pulls them in all directions. And then after that, it's making more money. That's something that's on people's mind, but it's interesting, it's not on top. It's making more money, enough to have for themselves and for the people around them. The career choice was not on top. I think what it is that people feel that they need substance first. They need the basic things met: health, money, not money, but health, spirituality, connectedness with other, uh, being physical. Those are the things that come first before the career. And you know what? They're right. Because no one says, my career was most important to me. A career fills who you are. It sets up the image that you want to portray to the world. That's true. Because often I hear women saying, I'm a mother, but it's not enough. One of the reasons I wrote the book one of my books was because women were complaining to me by their mid-30s, early 40s. Is this all there is? I want more. So for that, we need to be able to explore other possibilities. What is your passion? What did you like when you were a child? Imagine yourself wearing the clothes the person is wearing, because often they don't know what they want to do. So they do that. Those are the things that people want for themselves, but not in the beginning stages of their New Year's resolution. So basically, when we look at that, when we look at the rest of the year, then we can really celebrate the holidays more, because if you are full first, if you did all these things I'm talking about, who cares who says what? It does not matter anymore. You're a free spirit because you got what's most important, and that is you made choices for yourself, and nothing can undo that. It doesn't matter the dress you wore. It doesn't matter the party you went to, who invited who. Who cares? Because most of the year, you are doing what you want to do. And that's the secret that you can carry with you. And people say to me, "You're always so contented. Why is that?" Because that's what I really do. I say,
Mhm.
you know what? What's missing? What is it that I need to do that I'm not doing? And then I go there and I do it because it's not that anyone's stopping you. It's that you feel you can't do it, that something's going to happen. It's not true. You have to have a vision and you just step into it. Like I said, every 15 minutes, every day, 15 minutes, not every 15 minutes, but every day for 15 minutes. Do something.
Yeah.
Do
That sense
something.
of purpose is what you're talking about will give you the
Exactly.
strength to be able to cope with the stressors.
Exactly, every day. See, you put it into words much better than I do. See, I talk forever. You say it in 2 words, and it's the whole thing right there. You're much better at this. But exactly, if you get up in the morning and you do that, you'll feel full. You will feel fulfilled. Feel fulfilled, no matter if you wash dishes afterwards. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter. You still feel good that you did the most important thing for yourself. So it's health first, of course, health,
Yeah.
and then go through that process of being there. It's going to energize you if you have small kids. By the way, women with small kids are the most depressed because they stay home and they have no one to really connect with.
Mm.
So those are the most depressed women with little kids. Well, not the most depressed people, but the most depressed women at that stage of being
Mhm.
home. Uh, but when these women see that they can do both, when you see that you can have that career if you want it. You can be a parent, as you know, if you want it. You can have a good relationship. It doesn't have to be one or the other. It can be all. When I was younger, people thought I was greedy, but today, women have it all. Women are able to go ahead and have that time to make decisions for themselves. And it's not because of anyone else, but it's because of themselves. And women are reinventing themselves all the time, every day. The words that have been used have to change a little bit.
Mhm.
Women are aggressive while men are assertive. Women are selfish while men are family men if they're out there working. I mean, we really have taken a perspective from others that are really untrue. So we are moving onward as well. But also, I found that during my research, that women who had careers outside the home, that relationship filtered into the home, and they were more, and I researched 700 women, and they were more respected at home. They made financial decisions, social decisions across the board. So that does affect the relationship as well when you're true to yourself and you go out there and have your own purpose. And life is more exciting. You don't want to stay home and wait for your husband to come home and say, "What'd you do today?" You don't want that. That's pretty bad.
Well, and then if you are living a life of purpose that you're talking about, when you come into a situation like the holidays or a family gathering, you probably have a better sense of who you are. And I think it's very difficult to not feel guilty for some people. They feel guilt when they say no, or they feel guilt when they set boundaries. But I think what I hear you saying is that's okay. It's perfectly healthy. And it's probably a good idea to learn to set those boundaries and create that space so that everybody can
Absolutely.
make those decisions. Like you said, if you go to the other room and eat your dessert, that empowers someone else to get
Yes.
themselves out of a situation maybe they're not enjoying.
Absolutely. And especially women have been taught to give, 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 so they feel guilty. And men have been taught to be taken care of, so they're used to that. So I see the expression in your face. So, when we
I'm like,
start,
I remember early on in my marriage, my mother-in-law would want to like have all the men get up and get their food first. And I was like, that's not the way I was raised. The women have been
wow,
cooking and preparing, and the women need to go first, not the children,
really
not the men.
good for you.
And so I just felt like, you know, as time has gone on, we do the family style, but it's really interesting. I really had to go at this situation
Good for
every single
you.
holiday
You were
because I
always
thought
like
it's
this.
a respect issue.
But you were always like this. So you're somebody who respects yourself, and therefore people are around you pick up on that. So that's nice. It's innate. Good for you. That's really nice. And that's why you're doing what you're doing. It's not a coincidence
Mm,
because you keep sending that message out there to other people to continue that. And we need more people like you, more people to have programs that can make a difference to the way they think, the way they live their lives, the
mhm.
decisions they make. It's perfect. You are an influencer. And
Oh,
absolutely, millennials love that. They go on social media and they have people that they follow all the time. And so you would be a great representative for those people as well,
thank you
that
so much.
population. Yeah.
Well, as always, Dr. Frieda, always appreciate your insight and your perspective on things and all of your years of experience. And of course, your psychology practice has given you a lot of insight to the things that people struggle with. And it has given you that very straightforward, compassionate, but firm way of saying you don't have to do what you don't want to do.
Absolutely. You're a pleasure, and you make everything such put together so simply. After I speak for an hour, you put precisely together, and it's wonderful to hear that. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure, and always love to be on your show. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
And have a great day, Frieda. Take care,
Take
everybody.
care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.